Welcome to the Aki Culture Club. What's up, everyone? I'm your co-founder, Damien.
And I'm Nick.
Nick, are you ready to kick off the 34th club meeting?
34. Let's let this meeting commence.
Let's do this thing. We're in. Nick, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. Busy day, but got a pretty exciting episode, Damien.
Pretty excited episode. I think 34 is going to be our perhaps longest or most expansive video episode so far.
Expansive for sure. We
Expansive
got
for sure.
3 new ones that we gave the old Aki Culture Club commandment number 3, I think it is.
Yeah,
Give them
two.
3 episodes. Yeah, 2, 3, one of those.
I think it should be actually, it would make more sense if it was Aki Culture Club commandment number 3.
Yeah.
Because we watched 3 episodes.
Yes. And that is, you have to give a show 3 episodes before you can get rid of it or keep going.
Exactly. So, and with that being said, Nick, we watched My Hero, Tokyo Revengers, To Your Eternity. Those were the 3 from our past season that we're carrying over.
Oh, geez.
But we also watched The Detective Is Already Dead, Peach Boy Riverside, and Moonlit Fantasy.
Yes.
And we watched, so it was 3 of Peach Boy, 3 of Detective, and 2 of Moonlit Fantasy because the next episode comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
We watched like 10 episodes for this week. No, more than that. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, we watched a lot. So, and what was it? Detective Was Already Dead was a 40-minute episode for its first one.
Yes, I have a confession though.
What's
I only
that?
watched the first one.
That's okay. We can talk. Okay, so it's funny that you only watched the first episode, because in my personal opinion, out of 1, 2, and 3, the first episode was actually the best episode.
Okay, well, I still have 2 more to make that, make that decision. But yeah, I was trying to squeeze it in, and I was like, oh wait, this is 50 minutes long. Like, I'm not gonna be able to squeeze it in 30.
I got caught up in the same trap too. I was like, dang, because I actually watched another. So for like Damien gets fired up for the end of this episode, I watched another show that was also their episode premiere was also 50 minutes.
Never seen that before.
Never seen that either. And all of a sudden they're just squeezing 2 in one season. I guess they want people to like really watch their stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. How do you want to start this? Should we start with the new ones, with the OGs?
Ooh. Let's start with the OGs.
Good idea.
We'll get the OGs out of the way, and then we'll get to the new stuff. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Just want to start with the easiest one first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that My Hero?
Yeah, My Hero.
Yeah.
Filler episode.
100%.
Yeah. So I don't know. Long time no see, Selkie. Episode 16.
Yeah, felt like a filler, but I mean, maybe it could, like, Trigger, the drug that they had, is probably going to play a pretty big role.
Yeah.
And like the last, I don't know, 10 seconds of the episode seemed pretty important. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a casual way to introduce that drug.
Yeah.
They were just like, hey, you may have seen this before in the past. You definitely have. But like, we're reintroducing it again just in case you forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. So Trigger, they inject it into themselves and it enhances quirks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Could be pretty dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely dangerous for sure.
Oh,
just further enhances my theory that if the villains can enhance their quirks, someone on the hero side is going to be able to enhance other people's quirks.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like that power already exists in some capacity elsewhere in this universe.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Ah.
I was thinking, what if like this quirk, this trigger drug? Actually, I thought you were going to go with what you were about to say was like Endeavor is going to be able to take this trigger drug, and that's what he's going to use to die. That's what I thought you were going at.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome though. Imagine how powerful he'd be.
Oh, he would be so powerful. I was also getting the thought that even All Might be able to take this drug to get like a small boost back to what he used to be.
Dude, and then it just kills him. Like, that's the end of All Might.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
Dude,
it's like the last ditch effort.
That would be awesome.
That would be a sight to see, to just have Endeavor or All Might die. I know we talked about Endeavor dying in the past. We never talked about All Might dying.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a side figure now, almost like young Midoriya. Please don't do anything. You
I
know,
mean, he fits that Yoda character arc where it's like, or well, Yoda and I guess Obi-Wan and
Mhm.
a bunch of other people where like the cool old mentor of the main character ends up dying in some crazy way. And
It's like the last final passing of the torch.
yeah,
And I
I
like,
think that's exactly what it's called, is passing of the torch. That's the
mhm,
trope.
mhm. Yeah, last time I looked up character tropes, there's way too many spoilers. So as much as I want to look up that trope right now for All Might, can't do it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's other than that, like we got to see a lot of Froppy, which was cool. She's a cool character. Um
Yeah, we saw the
Raka,
girls a little bit more.
yeah, that was cool.
That was awesome because in the past episode we were talking about how like the women of My Hero don't get the spotlight
mhm.
and their support characters, but in this episode we got to see more of them.
Yeah, what's her name? Uraka. She
Yeah,
saved the day pretty much.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um Selkie, what a weird quirk to have.
I was
He's a
informed
seal.
that the word Selkie is actually like a real thing,
Uh,
and it's like in like some sort of mythology. It could be like Norse mythology or something, where like human beings wear they're like seal humans, and they like
hmm,
wear their skin, and then they can take their skin off and be humans.
hmm.
So that's where the word Selkie comes from.
Oh,
It's
well,
like a seal person.
it's a neat little tidbit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's the perks of having a very intelligent girlfriend. She can tell me things that I didn't realize in the moment. Oh, I just went right over my head.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird name. Why Selkie of all things? So
Why Selkie? Yeah,
yeah,
apparently it's just like a Norse thing.
yeah, cool. Thank you, Damien's girlfriend.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But yeah, we got like 10 seconds at the end with kind of, he looked like the leader of the Liberation Army, whoever their client was that they were trying to deliver the drugs to.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I don't think we ever seen him before, but he looked like a bad guy. So
No, yeah, you're right. He is giving me like main antagonist
mhm,
vibes. And I think we did see him for like a split second when Hawks was in that room in their
mhm,
conference room and they had all that technology.
okay.
But that was it. And that was the first time I think we saw his face. Yeah. As long as he's not as lame as Gentle Criminal, I think we'll be okay.
Dude, I hated that arc.
It was bad. It was a
That
bad
was
one.
terrible.
He was non-believable. Like they tried to write it as if like he was like a not like a relatable villain, but like a villain who had like maybe like good and bad in him.
Mhm,
And it was like the struggle of trying to figure out if he was a villain or not, but they just like kind of fell flat.
yeah,
And he was just like not convincing in the least bit, you know?
yeah, pretty much. He was just annoying.
Yeah. Because like I'm trying, I'm seeing what they're doing here, like with this liberation arc or the liberation movement that they have. They want to, it's like a gray area almost. Like,
Mhm,
yeah, heroes are great, but now they're stepping in and they're like, well, you know, heroes cause a lot of damage, and you know, there's a lot of like segregation with here, like having good quirks versus not having good quirks versus not having quirks at all. Like, you know, there's like no equality in this society. Like, they're trying to like go that gray area route, and I think they
mhm.
tried to do it with Gentle Criminal and it kind of failed.
It kind of failed. Yeah, but you're gonna get what you didn't want, which is another who's actually the villain scenario. I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I think that's where it's headed, honestly, especially with Stain being one of the villains in the like early My Hero Academia, and him being like the blueprint for the League of Villains.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely where it's headed, that gray area of villainry.
Yep. But the good guys will win in the end.
Maybe
Maybe.
there's some potential. The Deku.
If you want to know about a show that I don't even know who the good guys are and if they're going to win in the end,
What is
that's
that, Nick?
Tokyo Revengers.
Holy crap. This was a wild episode. And honestly, I really wasn't expecting this, what we got today. Episode
No,
15, No Pain, No Gain.
no. We learned about another new founder.
Yes.
Uh, what's his name, Damien?
Kazutoro.
Kazutoro. Yes. Um, yeah, and when he first showed up, I actually thought he was Hanma because they have the same like hair. I thought he was
Ah,
just like in disguise.
yeah. I was getting Takamichi older brother vibes. Like they kind of look a little similar.
Hmm. And he like ran up to him and hugged him.
Yeah, and I was like, is this like an older brother to him, or like did they mess with the timeline and he ended up with an older brother? I don't know, something weird, even
Yeah.
though they didn't go that far back. But at this point, I was like, he's not. I thought that Kazutora was the headless angel
Hmm.
because he was the original founding member of Tome, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's the headless angel, and they're like, it's Kazutora, the third in line in Valhalla. I was like, okay, he's definitely not the headless angel. He's number three.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I love that little like history lesson that we got from one of Takemichi's friends on the chalkboard. I thought that
Oh
was
yeah.
great.
Oh, it
I
was
didn't
awesome.
I didn't realize that Toman had 100, almost well now 150 people in it. I thought it was like 40 maybe.
Yeah, they don't really disclose like 100 people because when you saw that fight like 3 episodes ago, it didn't
Mhm.
look like there was 100 people there.
No,
It looked like it was maybe like 40.
maybe half of them were at home eating Cheetos or something. Didn't get the
Yeah,
call.
while the rest of their boys were fighting, yeah, they were like, "Oh, we're dying out here, and you guys are just chilling. What can we
Yeah.
do?"
Your VP, vice commander, just got stabbed. But pleasure of
Yeah,
you to show up.
yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys ended up showing up for that one. It's weird. Like after we are introduced to Kazutora and we find out that he's number three, he's immediately inviting Takamichi to the Valhalla hangout.
Yeah.
And when he's inviting him to the Valhalla hangout, they're like walking down the road, and before they get to the arcade or the abandoned arcade, Takamichi's like, "You're supposed to be, my like a few grades ahead of me. Like, where have you been?" And he was like, "Oh, I was in juvie." And
Yeah.
he's like, turns around, he's like, "Because of him."
Yeah.
Like real cryptic and whatnot.
Yeah.
Who do you think him is, Nick?
I think it's Mikey.
I think it might be Mikey.
Yeah.
I think it might
Yeah.
be him. I think it might be Mikey Coon.
Yeah. I mean, they left us on such a cliffhanger at the end because Baji was gonna explain
Uh-huh,
what
uh-huh.
happens, and instant end of episode. And I was like,
I was
ah,
like,
come on.
what is going on here? I want to know more. Why
Yeah.
would you strip me of this right now? I need to hear. Yeah. So that was, they've been doing that a little bit. They've been doing that a lot actually lately. There's like cliffhanger, cliffhanger, cliffhanger. I was like, when he got invited to Valhalla, I was thinking like, oh, is he like low key infiltrating them right now? Because that what he's doing? Like they're gonna like accept him into the gang. They're gonna like beat the crap out of him, and then he's gonna be like a double. He's gonna be like an inside agent for them for Toman. But it didn't seem like that. They kind of just used him as like a witness.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing, but I also thought like why Takamichi? He's not very important. He's just a kid that just got accepted.
You're right, Nick. You're right, and that's why I personally think that the headless angel also knows about time travel. I'm telling you, I
Someone,
think someone's playing games right now, bro. I want to know who it is.
someone's got to know.
Someone's got to know, because you don't just like find out this turd kid that just joined Toman, that's the crybaby Takamichi, to come be a witness for Baji, who is the former First Division commander of Toman.
Yeah, yeah. Why him?
Why him, Nick? Because somebody knows, and it's the headless angel. They don't have an identity. It's all panning out. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, Damien's had his tinfoil hat on for what 12 episodes now.
12
How far in are
episodes.
we?
The second I saw Mikey and the way that he looked at Takamichi in like episode 3 or 4, I was like,
Yeah,
you definitely know.
yeah. I'm still on board. I think you're right. Someone's gotta. Someone has to know.
Someone else has to know. And Takamichi hasn't gone back from the past in a minute. So like Nato is just chilling in the future with his body
Mhm.
for like a good while at this point, because time
Yeah.
still passes in the future.
Is that like its plot hole? Because when he came back. So in the beginning, Naoto said that, his body was just there, like lifeless or whatever. But the last time he went back to the future, he was standing in the convenience store that he worked in.
Yeah. So like, what does that mean? I
Yeah,
have no idea. Is that a heck of a plot hole? I would say so. Yeah.
yeah. It's not that big, I don't
It's
think it's that
not.
important.
Maybe we'll find out. Like, do things change in the future as Takamichi's changing things in the past, or is it like things are going the way that they are up until he goes into the future, and then in that snap moment, everything changes?
Yeah, so it's like the first time he really didn't change a whole lot, so that's why his path was still the same.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that's I think might be happening here.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen next. I want to know. I put that I put that in my notes. Man, comma a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
I want to know what happens next.
that was my one note, is how they're gonna leave us on a hanger like that.
How you gonna do us like that, man? But I know that what
That's to say, it's what it is, man.
it is.
Keep doing it.
The only thing is that would be weird is that we are in the summer season, and sometimes shows do take a break for a week. So like we already saw To Your Eternity and My Hero take a break. Like what if like Tokyo Rangers took a break for next week and we had to wait 2 weeks for a new episode?
I'd be a sad boy.
I'd be sad. I would be. This is definitely one of those shows that would be really, really, really good to binge watch in one session.
Yeah, I feel like you'd notice a lot of small details.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff. Because I even feel like there's things that I feel like this is one of those shows that things are happening in the show that we don't notice. Kind of like in Attack on Titan. Like after you know like more about Attack on Titan and who certain people and like, etc. You go back and you're like, oh, that was kind of like in plain sight.
Yeah. You go back and like Bertolt and Reiner like giving each other side eyes when they're talking about this.
I didn't want to spoil it for anyone, but
I mean, come on. If you listen to an anime podcast and you don't know that by now, what do you do?
Especially when we cover that as our first show.
Yeah,
you should probably know by now, I guess.
Sorry if we spoiled it for you.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, they're Titans. What can I say? Sorry.
That's okay. So, our third OG,
yes,
is TYE, To Your Eternity.
Episode 14, Jananda, Island of Freedom.
Yeah. How'd you feel about it?
I think there is so much development with Fushi as a person going on right now that it's like what's happening externally doesn't really matter. As weird as that sounds. Like, yeah, we were talking about it being like a tournament arc, and we were joking about that in the last episode, but it's like that isn't the context of like where he's at doesn't matter as much. Like I even think like the side characters, like the group of kids, don't matter as much in a weird way. Like Gugu mattered, March mattered. Like these kids don't. Joanne really mattered. Like the dog mattered, but like the boy mattered. But I think these kids and like the environment that they're in, and I'm not sure if they matter as much. But I'm not sure though. I think this is like more like personal development for Fushi at this current moment.
Yeah, I think you're right. And personally, I'm happy because I don't like the kids. They're annoying.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, we get it. You're like the family of prisoners, and like, oh, there's a dead body there. Oh, you see that every day. We're patiently waiting to get out and go free.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, that's so much trauma right there. That's not what the response would be to a child. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. This is all about Fushi's development, and we see he's like, he doesn't want to kill anything. Like he didn't even want to kill that little mole thing. He's like, please don't die. When he bit it as a dog, so he's turning into quite the pacifist and softy.
He is.
And meanwhile, you have his creator, who's like the stern dad, and he's like, I'm not going to help you unless it means it's an advancement for you. Other than that, it's not my problem.
Exactly. He even I want to go back onto the pacifist thing, but I want to say like the narrator is very cold-hearted. Like he told Fushi to his face that he's the one that killed Gugu.
Yeah.
Even in that current moment where it's like he didn't need to hear that because
No.
he's like still reconciling with the fact that like kind of did kill Gugu.
Yeah.
And you don't tell somebody to their face, like this is your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's like Scar and Simba when Mufasa dies. And it's like, if you weren't here, Mufasa never would have fell down and died, even though
Mm-hmm.
Scar actually did something. And then then Simba goes off as a recluse after that. Like he's kind of driving Fushi away, even though he's trying to make him advance.
Exactly. Which is like, damn, like you're not really helping in this current moment. You would think that his job would be to help because he wants to collect more information. I don't know. I just thought that was really weird. But to the pacifist thing, I also feel like we're also seeing Fushi realize that he doesn't have the necessary equipment and weapons and forms to take on unique situations.
Yeah.
So not only is he like realizing that like he's a pet, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. On the opposite end, he's also realizing that he doesn't have the necessary tools to
Yes.
do anything, to
Yeah.
do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think you're right. And he did gain a lot of weapons this episode.
Gain a lot of weapons. You're right. You're right. Because we did say that like he was going to gain either a bunch of like people or weapons, and that's actually a good pickup. You're right. He did gain a lot of weapons
Yeah, he just had like axes and swords all over his body, and that was his defense.
because he didn't want to hurt the dude Zomblo or whatever his name was.
Yeah. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was the face licker all about? That girl, where'd that come from?
I have no idea. That was
Uh,
weird as heck, wasn't it?
yeah, and my first thought was, is that what's her name? Is her name Tanari, the girl that was with March?
Mm-hmm.
Was that her? But then he transformed into her. So
Yeah,
that means she's dead, right? Does she have to be
that's
dead?
that's what I was thinking. Like, how was he able to just turn into her without ever having to? Like, he did it from memories, from March's memories, even.
Yeah. Yes. Because he
Uh,
doesn't even have March anymore.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't even know who she is. He can't. He can only see a silhouette of like light around her.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've learned before that he's able to things that like stimulate him, he's able to transform into like some sort of like emotional stimulation, physical stimulation. So maybe just being around her for as long as he did, and because she was so close to March, that's why he can. But I thought the thing had to be dead for him to transform. Did she
Exactly.
die?
I
I
don't
don't.
know. Did she may could she have died in that same moment that he was able to turn into her, or did she die prior and then like by going back into his memories he was able to then turn into her because she had finally passed?
Yeah, I really don't know. And I thought that maybe the face licker was her, but also it's really out of character for her to come up and lick his face because she was like a nice girl.
Oh, the girl Tanara, are you talking the girl from the March arc, or are you guys talking about the little girl?
Uh, the March arc, the one that he transformed into to kick the dude in the face. He transformed into her.
Yeah, she's from the March arc. I forget her. Is her name Tanari, or is the little girl's name Tanari?
I think the little girl's name is Tanari, and I have it confused. Yeah, but
Hmm.
so I thought that the face licker was the girl from the March arc.
Okay.
The,
How would she? Yeah. So I had no idea. I thought it was a dude, honestly. I had no
yeah,
idea who it even was.
yeah. I don't know either. But at the at the end of the episode, when you see him, like when he is the girl from the March arc, we're on the same page now. It like panned up in the audience, and you saw the face licker, like the back of them, and they were like took a particular interest in when he transformed into her. So I don't know, man. I have no
Oh,
idea.
that's weird.
I
That's
don't know.
real weird.
I don't know. Another question: did he lose the bear?
Yeah. He lost the bear to the Knockers when Gugu died.
Okay.
I think the
Okay.
Knockers took the bear and March.
Okay. Yeah, because at one point he's like, "What can I transform into that's big and scary and make him stop?" And I'm like, "Dude, the bear. He's the
No,
bear."
they took. That's the thing. Like they took the bear. He doesn't remember that he had the bear.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know about the onigami that he used to have. Like That's why he can't. He's got to stop losing powers. Otherwise, he's gonna really fall short.
And not only does he lose like the powers, he like loses all of the memories that go along with it.
Exactly. And it's weird that he's like doesn't want to hurt anything or anyone, but he's
Mhm.
also so attached to Gugu that like, dude, like these knockers can come back and they're gonna come back in the next episode.
Yeah, we saw that.
And you're gonna have to fight them again. And there is an opportunity for them to take Gugu from you if you don't stop dragging your feet.
Hmm.
You know, he's coming to terms. We're really in the midst of watching him coming to terms with the reality of his situation. And it's fascinating to see how they're telling the story through the eyes of somebody who was once a rock
Yeah,
and now a human. It's very interesting,
yeah.
you know.
I'm still loving this show. I think it's great.
Me too. It's so good. Like from our perspective, obviously we have those critical thinking skills and we can think deeply about the situation that we're in. But to watch someone who can't, it's very and like still learning, but he's
Mhm.
not a kid. It's very interesting.
And he's like a 6-year-old kind of.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's still young, like still so young, you know.
Hmm.
And he doesn't want to hurt anything, but and the narrator tries to tell him like, death is like a it's a debt we all have to pay,
Yeah, except for you because you don't die.
except for you. So have fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode. I'm hoping that he comes to a breaking point where he just snaps, and it's like because like there's a lot of tension building in like
Mhm.
his mind right now
Oh
of
yeah.
like what you said, that duality of like he needs to get his shit together, but he doesn't want to hurt anyone, and it's like tension, and I feel like he's just gonna snap.
Hmm.
I want him to.
You want him to. I wonder what that will look like when he ends up snapping. You
I
know,
don't get in his way.
don't get in his way because he's gonna be mad. He's gonna be angry.
Yeah,
He's gonna be real angry
yeah.
for sure. We only have 6 episodes, 7 episodes, six. I think 6 episodes left.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. 6 more weeks. Guess the end of August. It's kind of a
Yeah.
bummer. Kind of weird to say that.
Yeah, and this show's gonna end on some sort of cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be light by any means. It's going to
Mhm.
be heavy for sure.
Yeah.
And
So
that's like all our new stuff, or our old stuff, our
the
OG stuff.
OGs. Yeah, now let's talk about the new stuff. I'm
Now let's talk
excited.
about the new stuff.
Where do you want to start?
Oh my god, I don't even know. Let's
I
start with
think
the. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you were gonna say. I think we should start with the detectives already
I was
dead.
gonna say that too.
Yeah.
We're on the
Um.
same wavelength.
Yeah, I confessed earlier that I only watched the first episode because I didn't realize it was 45 minutes long, and I was crunched for time. But so the commandment number
Happens.
3 is you must give 3 episodes before you make a judgment. I am prematurely making a judgment that I think this show is going to be very good, and I want to continue it. Damien, on the other hand, said that the first episode was the best.
So, the first episode I thought was really great. I thought seeing like we saw Kimmy and Siesta, we saw them meet, like we saw him having the suitcase and he was bringing it on the plane, and we got really great like insight into what the spec is, that secret organization. They kind of set the organization up. um there were some like references to Sherlock Holmes in there, if I don't know if you noticed that. And I just thought like the way that the first episode was crafted at 50 minutes, it went by for me really fast.
Yeah, it did. I
And
would
I was like,
agree.
wow, this is awesome. Like
Yeah.
how smart Siesta is compared to like our MC, or I guess Kimmy. I guess they're both MCs. Uh she's like 5 steps ahead
Of everyone,
of
not just
everyone.
Kimmy. Yeah.
Everyone in every situation in the scenario. I thought that was so cool because I'm like, wow, I want to now see like everything that she's setting up in the beginning of the episode
Mm-hmm.
to solve like a whatever crime or problem that they're having at that current moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, so like I thought it was cool.
Yeah, real Death Note Code Geass vibes with the super genius.
Oh yeah.
But a good amount of humor to go along with it. Like there's this weird dynamic between, again, I'm only on the first episode, between Kimmy and Siesta, where like Kimmy's like into her and she knows it and she's using it to her advantage to like manipulate him to do the things that she wants him to do. Um, and it was funny, like with the whole like cosplay thing where they end up being like the bride and groom is just ended up perfectly. It's almost like she planned for that to happen on this grand scheme to get him to become her sidekick. Still don't really know why she wants him to be her sidekick so bad. Okay, so I don't want you to spoil anything.
I won't.
Because I'm gonna watch, but like I'll be caught up for next week with all the episodes to episode 4. If you think do you want to continue it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I based off what I've seen in episode 2 and 3, I want to see where they're going with it.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything for you, but there's like a huge change.
Okay. Answer this, and I don't care if it's kind of spoilers. She
Okay.
wasn't like dead the whole time, right? Like she
No.
wasn't a ghost. Okay. Because I was
Nope.
like trying to figure out why is it called this in that
Yeah.
whole episode, and like she disappeared everywhere. So I was like,
Mhm.
is she just like a figment of his imagination?
That would be funny, but no, it's not. They'll explain it in the next episode.
Yeah. I think I saw like maybe in the end credits or something that like she's dead. Like I know that. I know that much. That's about it.
Yeah, you'll find out in episode 2.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
then when you find out in episode 2, you'll kind of you may feel the same way that I do.
Okay.
But we'll find out next week if you do feel the same way that I do. I'll hold how I feel for now. I just don't. I'm not actually. Yeah, probably don't read the notes that I have.
I won't. Are they negative? Do you feel negatively about it?
Towards the end of episode 3. No, towards the end of episode 2 and the beginning of episode 3, I was like, okay, this is what am I doing here? Like
Yeah.
what happened? That first 50 minutes was awesome. But then the end of episode 3, I was like, okay, actually maybe not.
It wasn't awesome.
It wasn't bad. Or wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
So you like started up here and then you went down and then you went back up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. It's interesting how they're going about this. And the thing is, what I want to see is why they're going about it this certain way, how they're going to proceed, and like will the hype continue throughout.
Okay. Damn, I feel like I dropped the ball on that. These are things we should be talking about.
Yeah, it's okay though, because like I said, we have like a bunch of shows to watch, and next week, we'll talk about it, and it's okay.
Yeah, I'll be caught up by next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry. I wouldn't beat yourself up about it.
Okay. We've got 2 other ones.
Yeah, we do.
I want to save what I think is the best for last.
Okay.
So I think next we should transition into Peach Boy Riverside.
Sounds good to me. Peach Boy Riverside. We watched episode 1, 2, and 3 for this one.
Yes, we did.
Go ahead, Nick. Tell me. I talked a lot about Detective. You tell me what you think.
Okay. Right off the bat, I got like RPG video game vibes. Did you get that too?
Absolutely did. Yes.
Like when she walked up to the town. Well, first of all, she just it opens up with she's just standing over the hair folk Frau, and it's like I was like, did I miss something? Is this not the right episode?
He's done that in the past.
Yeah, I have done that in the past. And it, like that's like the opening of a video game. Like here's your companion, pick your Pokemon, like right in the beginning, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like Frau's like this. I love Frau. She's a great character, super simple but like super strong at the same time. Loves carrots. Cool. Rabbit, hair folk. Apparently demigods or demi-humans are like real humans don't like them. They're scared of them. But our MC, which kill me, I don't even know what her name is. What is her name?
Sally.
Sally. Yes, it's like a weird name, but it's Sally. Like they travel together and they
Mhm.
come up to this town, and the first person that greets them is like, "Oh, are you a traveler? Can I help you with something, or can you help me with something?" And it's like, am I in Skyrim and I just walk into a town and someone like flagged me down and was like, "Hey, you're a hero adventurer." So I was like, and then they see the demi-human and scare her off. And they come back and they meet like the town the lord of the land, and he says the same exact thing. He's like, "Are you a traveler? Can I help? Can you help me? Can I help you?" And I'm just like, "Are we in a video game right
Were
now?"
you playing Skyrim at this current moment? Did they just
Right,
rip it right off? Yeah, God.
right. So did you get those vibes too?
Oh my God, dude, it was so weird that they were just walking around. They're like, "Hello, traveler. Hello, traveler." It's like, where else does this happen that people are just mindlessly saying hello to people,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to get their story? Only in a video game does that happen.
hmm And we don't really know much about this. After these 3 episodes, we don't know much about this universe that we're in. We know that there's ogres,
Mhm.
demi-humans, and humans. I'm
Mhm.
assuming, and monsters, I guess, is like another race.
Yeah,
I don't know if ogres and monsters are the same thing.
I'm wondering if Sally and Peach Boy are humans. Um, so like you gave like a really great introduction to like the first episode there. Like that's pretty much what happens.
Yes.
They do end up doing a little bit of fighting, and Frau like does some fighting, which is cool. And like you said, she's a really cool character, or
Mhm.
they're a really cool character. Um, but we really don't get too much, and we really get more information about the world in episode 2, ogres and
Yes.
humans.
hmm
And that's where we find out more about like the ogre clan, and we also realize that Sally's searching for the Peach Boy, uh, and he's like, this is when they're fighting Set, and then the other ogre too, the girl,
Yeah.
um,
So
Ibutsu or something like that. No, that's the Peach Boy. I forget her name. I forget the ogre's name.
I do. There was a lot of names like really fast in these 3 episodes, to me at least, and I'm terrible with names. So, um, but we have Sao. We have there's the big fat ogre, and we have like the ogre who's no longer an ogre.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler for episode 3, I think. Peach Boy chops off her horn and stabs her in the eye, which she loses all her ogre powers, and now she's like part of the gang.
Oh,
Yeah. Which is like worse than death for an ogre to
yeah.
be. So Sally like kind of took this as like a moment of empathy and was like, "I don't want you to die, so why don't you just come with me?"
Mhm.
um
Apparently, ogres and humans don't commingle at all.
no.
But neither do we demigods and humans either. So I guess it's just kind of like, you know, I'm seeing it's weird. It seems like ogres hate humans, humans hate demigods.
Mhm.
I wonder where demigods stand in that equation. I
Yeah,
wonder if
I don't
demigods
know
hate ogres.
if it's like a triangle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder.
I feel like ogres hate everybody that aren't them.
Probably. Yeah.
um but they're like the main baddies of the show,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, so far. um and I don't really understand. Maybe you can explain this more to me. Like, what is Peach Boy? So I know it's like the dude that looks like a girl with the long black hair, and he's like super powerful. But they had like this like couple sentence description of like the lore of Peach Boy. Did you catch it, and did you understand it?
From what I understand, like it's like it is a Japanese folklore tale, and I feel like I'm gonna butcher it heavy, but I think it's like there's a child born in a peach, and then they opened the peach up, and then they had it. There were a child was in it, and then he was really strong, and then he goes and slays demons and ogres and stuff. Honestly, I'm butchering it terribly. I really don't know it.
Okay. Well, we know that Peach Boy, or Minnesota, or whatever his name is, super strong. He's got 2 hearts in his eyes.
Yes, he
And
does.
when that's on, like activated, he's like invincible essentially.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Slays any ogres with ease. He took a cannon blast, like it was no big deal.
Yes, he is
Um,
over. He's OP,
he's OP.
as some would say.
But
Mm.
Sally has one heart.
One heart, Nick. I noticed that as well.
And there's a weird relationship between the two. Like they know each other from before. Sally's looking for Peach Boy this whole time. We don't really know why. We don't know why Peach Boy hates ogres and he's killing them. We just know that's his like creed. That's what he's doing. But Sally has one heart, and when that comes on, she's also invincible or super strong. But it's not. She's not herself.
Yes.
When the heart is activated.
Precisely.
And it's almost like ogres are what activate the heart, because every time the ogre was there, she's like, oh, I feel this warm, tense feeling.
Yep.
And then she loses herself and then slays the giant walrus ogre and comes back and was like, oh, like she had no memory of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like, there's so many questions. Like why do humans and ogres hate each other? Why does Peach Boy hate ogres? What is this power? You know, like what is their goal? The main bad guy ogre wants humans and ogres to coexist. That should be a good thing, right? But it's not.
Yeah. So I think I have an interesting, I guess I don't know if this is interesting, but I have a thought. So you're right. Peach Boy has 2 light up eyes. Saline has 1. And we saw at the end of the 3rd episode that the ogre went to her, and Peach Boy was also there as well. And they said to her, like, you have an option, choose this path or this path, right? And they kind of like both let out their hand. And I thought that was very interesting because she has one eye that lights up and one eye that doesn't. So I had this inclination that she's mixed race.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like the tipping point almost. And I was like, oh, she's being asked to decide. Like, why? Like, if she was fully part of like whatever Peach Boy is, it wouldn't be a decision. If she was fully ogre, it wouldn't be a decision. They would just probably be on the side that they belong to, I guess.
Right.
But there's conflict here, and like visually, her body is like represented in like one eye lighting up and one eye not.
That's a good catch. Good symbolism.
So I think there's going to be something there that's going to appear probably in the next episode when it comes down to that decision that she's going to make on whether or not she wants to go and, go with that high ogre or go with Peach Boy.
Yeah. And again, more RPG vibes. It's like choose your faction.
Choose your faction. Exactly. There are a lot of RPG vibes in this show. You're right.
Yeah. Is this a shonen? Is it an isekai? What is it?
Definitely not an isekai because she wasn't whipped off into another land. Like she's always lived there.
She's an ex-princess, which how do you do that? I don't know yet.
Figure that out later. Knows? So according to my anime list, we're getting fantasy and shonen.
Okay. Which it has the shonen vibes of like some hidden power that she hasn't really gotten under control yet, but it's like OP, which that's shonen.
Yeah, that's totally shonen. So yeah, there's got to be something. But there's also fantasy because obviously it's like from a mythology and it's from a totally different world.
Yeah,
exactly.
So Commandment 3, we did 3 episodes. Give me a thumbs up, a medium, or a down, Damien. Definite thumbs up.
Yeah,
great
definitely.
show.
I like it. I think it's great so far.
Yeah, I want to go back to my notes really quick because I just realized I think it was the first episode where Sally was like walking in the market and she saw an octopus, and it just like pans like it was like tentacle porn, and I was like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Like, let's not skip over that.
Totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's something that totally happens. And I was also informed that like her boob physics are totally off. Like her boobs are so big that like through gravity, the weight of her chest would pull her forward.
Yeah.
She would need to instinctively like slump herself back while standing so her center of gravity is straight.
Yeah.
And she's not doing that. And gravity is off. Not
I mean,
realistic.
it's also anime. All anime girls have giant boobs. It's just a thing.
Yeah, none of them slapped too. I know. But yeah, I think
That
it's
thumbs
good.
up.
Yeah, I want to
Uh,
continue with it.
So do I. No duds because we saved the best for last.
No duds because we saved the best for last. Okay, number six.
6.
Six, I think we're
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ugh. Moonlit Fantasy.
Dude.
Episode 1, Failed Hero.
Yeah. Dude, I love this show. Like this, I was sad when I found out there was only 2 episodes.
Yeah. You
I
messaged
was
me
like,
immediately. You were like, "Yo, where's the third episode at, bro? Like, I'm trying
yeah.
to watch this third one." And I was like, "Comes out on Wednesdays, man. You gotta wait till tomorrow."
It's like, damn. Yeah,
Damn.
dude, it's so entertaining.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny and also like cool action at the same time. And it's like it's aware of itself. Like the show
Mhm.
itself is like he's like, oh, here we go. It's another isekai.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like in the very beginning.
Exactly. It feels like because there's so many isekais like being released, and there's going to be a lot more being released in the future. It's almost like he's so self-aware. He's like,
Mhm,
"Oh no, not another isekai."
mhm. And then it
Um,
happens to him.
and it happens to him because you're right. Like getting isekai usually means you have to die in some capacity, like getting hit by a car, or the usual other any other typical ways,
Mhm.
getting overworked, etc. But he's like, oh, that's how it usually happens, and like his is because his parents are from that world and they signed him over.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man,
it's just so like there's so many funny, weird moments in the show. And I love it.
it's so I was screenshotting
Really?
like scenes because I thought they were so funny. I'm like, I kind of want to use this for like a cover of this episode
Hmm, hmm.
because I'm thinking about changing the YouTube cover up, and I was like, because I want to start using like screenshots because some of the screenshots from some of the shows we're watching are so good, and this one was so funny. I was like, dude, it would be cool to use it because it's so fun. Like even the goddess was super mean to him, and by the time he like lands and he talks to Shen and like, oh my
And
god, he helps
dude,
the little piggies out.
like the god, I forget what his name is. His goddess and the god was helping him out. He's like, don't worry, I'll hide your adult themed things.
He's like, oh my
When
god,
he
thank you so much.
like
He's like,
he's gonna hide his porn for him because
yeah,
he's
I
no
know.
longer. I was
Yeah,
like,
he just
what?
what is going on? This show is like, it's so it is like so casually funny and aware of it. Because like, what other show are you seeing like it be a show, but also talk about stuff like that too?
And be aware of itself as a show. Like
Mm,
it's like breaking the fourth wall.
exactly. It felt like it was breaking the fourth wall a lot, actually.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like overall consensus, yeah, we don't need to watch 3. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
funny. If you guys are like into funny like comedy, doesn't take itself too seriously, fourth wall breaking, this is a good show to watch.
it's still like awesome though because again, it's like an RPG. Like
Hmm.
a lot of isekais are like that. Well, are that
Yeah.
essentially, and like we see him in the beginning, like figure out that he can do magic, and he's OP, and for some because he was a human or in the human world for so long, he's like OP now because like the pressures of the human world is greater than in there. And like he comes in and meets this invincible dragon, Shen, right off the bat. And like she's just like bows to him. She's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love you. She's like obsessed with him, which is
Hmm.
weird.
Which is really weird. And then she turns into a human because you turn into the form based off of the dominant person in the contract, right?
Yeah.
So in episode 2, Black Spider Disaster, we see almost not the same thing, but there's like some progression in the story. They accept it works into that, like that, I don't know, is it Demiland or whatever it's called, like the plane of existence that is outside of the other Isekai plane of existence that is also a Demiland. I don't know. The spider breaks in and like wants to fight him, but is ended up like likes getting beat up by him, right?
That's so weird.
So weird. And I was thinking to myself, like, they were talking about like a contract, and I was like, she was like, Shem was like, yeah, you could become contracted and you can follow him around. And I was almost thinking to myself, like, this show is so funny that could have ended up being a dude. And I was like fully expecting it to be a guy. It ended up not being a dude. It ended up being another woman, which then kicked off my harem senses. And I was like, is this show going to be a harem?
I don't think so.
Is this a harem anime? Because then it's got 2 women following him now.
Yeah, but I think it's not gonna stoop to that. I think it's gonna play on that because like he obviously is attracted to both of them, and that's gonna create some dynamics because they both love him. So I don't think it's gonna maybe it does, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I wonder if they're going to add more women. Maybe that'll be it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But my harem senses were tingling a little bit.
Damien got real excited.
Nah, I did not. I'm already watching a harem anime this season. I don't need another. Thank you very much.
Yeah. After 2 episodes, 100% thumbs up.
For
in
true.
the camera.
Thumbs up, bro. That was a good one.
It was.
But
we went over 6 animes.
6 animes, and we're not done yet.
We're not done yet. Because
Damien's got
his own segment.
His own segment. Damien gets fired up. All right. Damien gets fired up. Season 3, new shows. This is my favorite time of the podcast. This is when the new shows drop and I get to just watch everything. Obviously, there's a lot on my docket prior to just the main show. And then there's the Damien gets fired up stuff. So the way that I broke it up is I watched half of what I want to watch for Damien gets fired up this week. And then next week we'll go over the other half of what Damien's going to watch for Damien gets fired up. But also watch this week's stuff too. So, but things get dropped along the way. So I watched 3 shows this week. The first one, Battle Game in 5 Seconds. Title, didn't really understand it until I watched the first 5 seconds of the show. And then realized that you meet someone within 5 seconds and you have to fight them.
Wow.
So Battle Game in 5 seconds. A revolutionary idea, right, Nick? Like just like, man, we gotta start reading the titles. You know what I'm saying, man? Like we act way too, the detective is already dead. Come on, man. We gotta start reading the damn titles of the shows that we're watching. Battle Game in 5 seconds. Okay. So the way that it works is that this crazy woman, cat girl, director of some sort, took a bunch of people, put them in this secret area. I don't know what it is. Think of like the Greed Island arc in Hunter x Hunter. It's just like separated from everything. And everyone gets a unique power, but you have to wear handcuffs. And then when they take the handcuffs off, you can fight the person that you're assigned to fight.
Okay.
And that you have to use your ability to fight that person, right? And this cat girl director lady wants to see how people interact with the abilities that she's granted them. Essentially, our MC has he's very intelligent. Like he's light. I always like to say he's like light Yagami. That's Light from Death Note. That's how smart he is. Okay. He's got that type of like intelligence vibe going on. So his power, which I thought was really cool, was illusion. So he could make if he can make the other person believe that that's his power, then he can make that power happen.
That's cool.
So in the beginning of the middle of the show, the woman with the director woman who gave everyone the powers had a hand cannon and blew somebody up, right? So in his fight with the person at the end, he convinced him that he had the hand cannon power. And the dude believed him that he had the hand cannon power. Therefore, his hand cannon power became real.
That's a really cool power.
And he blew the dude, and he blew the guy, like his arm off or something. And that was kind of like and then he walked, and then that was kind of like the end of the episode. I thought that was super cool because that's like all mind game stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's a super smart character.
And he's a super smart character. Yeah. So it's all dependent on how well he can play the strategic game with the other people. They also can't find out about his power because once they won't believe what he can do, then he's pretty much useless.
This sounds great. Is he the MC?
Yeah.
Who you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds like a great show.
I thought it was really cool. I was really thoroughly impressed with with like the writing and how his power works and stuff. And it's episode 1, the Sophist, and I realized that like that's what that his power is called, like Sophist.
Okay.
So I'm gonna continue watching that because I know we give the first 3-episode rule, so we got to continue watching episode 2 and 3 either way. But I think so far it's pretty great.
Yeah, it sounds great. That's a really interesting like plot point.
It is cool. So I'll keep you updated on how that one goes. Next one, 2 out of 3, remake our life. Episode 1, nothing was working out. So essentially, this was also the other 50-minute show that I watched. That I didn't know it was 50 minutes until I started it. Got like 8 to 10 minutes in, and was like, for halfway through, this is pretty slow. Like, I'm actually kind of nervous that this is going to be terrible because it was so slow in 10 minutes. And like, theoretically, that's half the episode. Like, you should have some sort of like hook within 10 minutes of your first episode to have people continue watching. And then I like hovered over like the time bar, and it was, 50 minutes. I was like, oh, that's the reason why it's so slow, because they have so much time to tell the story. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit and I'll continue watching. I ended up really, really liking this one. So it's about a kid, not a kid, but he's 28. So he's in his late 20s. He's a game developer, but it's so interesting because he is a designer, a developer, a logo designer, game designer, a writer, a social media manager. Like, he's all the jobs for the game development company. He ends up getting fired and can't find a job, right? But he always wanted to be in game design, but could never really do it because he went to get an economics degree instead of a visual arts degree. So he can only be like on the outside of game design and wants to be a part of like the big people who make games. Essentially what happens is he gets put back in time, and he has the ability to choose like if he wants to go for that economics degree or if he wants to go for that visual arts degree. So he chooses the visual arts degree, and then it takes him on the path of like going to college and getting that visual arts degree, which I thought was like really cool. He meets a girl, like there's in their flat, there's 2 girls and 2 boys, and the one girl on his floor, she's like kind of weird, kind of quirky. And he's like he's not that he doesn't like her, but he's kind of like off put by her. And then like he goes and checks up on her, and at the end of the episode, he walks by her room, and she's like working on a piece of artwork that he had on his phone as a 28-year-old that he absolutely adored. Like, he loved this artist, and then realized that his roommate was that artist.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool plot twist.
Yeah, and he's like, oh my God, that's her. And then like he sits down and like finally realizes like, okay, I am like, because they were a part of the kids in his room are a part of the Platinum Trio, I think. And they're like the big game developers, designers of when he's 28. So he's now realizing like, oh, like I'm actually here now. Like I can actually like design and video games. And then he realizes that he needs to go to a specialty instead of just being a jack of all trades, master of none. He needs to master a specialty. So I guess it's like an isekai, but it's also a slice of life, time travel. It was nice.
No battles, just life.
Just no battles, just life. I liked it. I thought it was really good. It's definitely a huge change of pace from the other stuff that we're watching. Like, this is like true, like, it is a time travel, but it's also slice of life. I like it. I'm down with it.
He likes those kind of shows.
I do. It warms my heart. You know what else warms my heart, Nick?
Number 3.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
So this show, right? How can I put this, Nick? My man's the MC has a girlfriend, right? She's got red hair. Redheads are the best. So she's got red hair. He doesn't need anything else in life. But this other girl comes up and is like, hey, like, she's a freshman, I think. She cooks and she cleans. And she's like, hey, like, I really like you and I want to date you. And he's like, I have a girlfriend. And this girl gets all sad. And he's like, oh, I can't have her being sad. And he's like, you know what? I have a great idea. All 3 of us will date at one time. Not like an open relationship, but all three of us, a throuple. It's a throuple. It's a throuple anime, Nick.
It's a throuple.
This is where we're at right now. I'm watching a throuple anime. It's trash. I don't know how else to put it. It is shit trash, but I love it and I want to continue watching it. It literally has no plot, no story other than him dating two girls at one time and them trying to figure out how to go about it. Like they don't want to tell people at school. They're getting jealous of each other. Well, his main girl is getting jealous of his side. I don't know if it's a side girl because it's throuple now. Anyway, it's garbage.
It sounds like garbage.
It's garbage. I don't know else compared to everything else we're watching. It's garbage. I like garbage though, Nick.
You're into that kind of
Call
stuff.
me a raccoon because I be eating garbage. You know what I'm saying?
You got to Photoshop. You have Photoshop little raccoon eyes on you for that part.
Oh my god,
dude! We covered 9 animes in an hour.
An hour. We ripped through it. I feel like, when you watch 3 episodes at one time, it would be a slog to be like, okay, episode 1, or episode 2, go through it. Episode 3, go through it, and then do that 3 times, and then it's a whole ass thing. Everyone here is watching the 2. Tell us what you think. The comments.
Yeah, we were just reacting to 3 episodes, giving it the old commandment number 3. That's what we did, and we gave it the thumbs up and thumbs down. No thumbs downs. All good stuff.
All good stuff. All good stuff. And then next week, when Have More for Gaming gets fired up, I'm assuming some of that's going to be crap too. So stick with us because I'm watching it so you don't have to.
Doing us a service.
Doing you and everyone else a service here.
Yeah, you are, because I wouldn't watch them.
You wouldn't watch that dog crap. I know you wouldn't. Yeah. You would watch 3 minutes of it and you'd be like, all right, I'm out.
If there's no fighting, I'm good.
Oh, there's fighting, just not the way that you.
That's not in real life, Damien. It's fine. Remember, this is an escape.
Oh my God, this is an escape. Nick likes fighting and fighting only.
Yeah. No, I like fantasy.
He likes fantasy stuff. That's why we like moonlit fantasy.
It's the best. It's gonna be number 1. I'm telling you.
Oh, geez. Speaking of number 1, I forgot to mention this. I saw a YouTube video about this anime on Funimation called Click,
mm-hmm.
and it's a Chinese anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it itself shot itself in the top 25 on my anime list this past spring season. So like, not only did Odd Taxi become like a top 25 anime, this other one became top 25. I didn't hear about it until I watched this YouTube video, and I was like very surprised that it was so popular, and it's on Funimation. It's number 20 on my anime list. It has an 8.89.
That's good.
Yeah, like people rate it very high. Like, I don't know. It's like I've never really watched any Chinese animation before. So yeah, I don't know. I was just throwing that out there. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe we'll watch it. I don't know.
Maybe a little one-off.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to do a one-off for a show that popular. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, and a Chinese anime at that. I haven't seen one of those yet.
Neither have I. I would like to give it a shot at least.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a spin-off.
Yeah, spin-off Chinese. Yeah. All right.
We did it.
We did, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our 34th club meeting where we discuss all things anime and sometimes manga related. This is your after school podcast with 2 absolute wannabe weebs where we detail the season's where we will detail the season's newest shows and also sometimes an analysis of old favorites. If we don't forget, you can find us at akiculture.club or at akiculture club on social media. And that's it.
There's only one way to end it.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.